All right, all you devils out there, happy Friday. Sam here with you. It's the Friday the 5th coming up just on about 1 o'clock for me here in Austin. Oh, for something different here, of course, we're going to look at Bitcoin. I thought we'd start with the bearish, more bearish count, at least in the short term. Now, this was posted by a member of our Al-Wanahi, I think this is 2 weeks ago, in a live stream, or at least 10 days ago. At this point, I still don't think I don't want to get into the conversation here because I think it's a waste of time as to whether or not this is the pivot here, whether this is right per his count here, we're still correcting. So this would be the 3 ABC via an expanded B into a. So we'd be doing a. Oh fuck! What are we doing here? I guess if it depends how you're going to label it here. If we're going to go ABC, then we're doing a flat with an expanded B. You could probably do this. You could probably put the 5 up here and then go 5, 3, 5, and then do it as a zigzag. But the zigzag's not going to like the expanded B wave here. So I think you're still better here to go. If you're hardcore, to do the A, the 3 into the B, the 5 into the A, 3 into the B, and now we're working on the C here. So really, what this all comes down to is where are we here? Is this a good low, or do we need to come over, roll over one more time? It's obviously right. If you're a bull, okay, this is not what we want to see here. You can certainly make a case for it. You can understand the count is. It's not terrible, right? You can kind of see the impulse here on the way down. So it becomes a question of, okay, if this is going to be our 4, where do we invalidate? Well, if we take out this pivot here, we can invalidate that count. You can also see how, well, all right, if we're going to hold here as the 4 and we come down here, well, of course, nothing says we stop here because the 80% has already been burned here, right? So from the corner here, we've got our 80% so that we don't have 80% to get there again. It wouldn't be unreasonable to come back here and ping the 50 as we hit the median line again. There's not a lot of support over here, and there's very little on this side, so that's a little bit of, okay, let's hope the TA plays there. So we can't kill this count, right? Unfortunately, we can't eliminate it here really until we take out this pivot here. But you can kind of look at this and say, certainly it's the alternate here. You can see why we want this to be a 3 and not a 5, right? So what we want here is this to be A, assuming you're a bull here. You want an ABC here to be done. Now, the problem here is that this is such a chop monster here. It's not particularly clear as a correction. It's already getting, it's probably you got a double here. If indeed it's going to play as a correction, it's not real clear. It's a very bumpy start to any sort of a motive wave to come out of here. So bulls certainly would prefer that the correction is in down here, and this little chop monster that we're in here as we try and grind higher is either a series of 1 2 1 2 1 2, right? Which it certainly could be. We're going to look at that, or we've got some sort of very ugly attempt at a diagonal as the reason we get a diagonal here at major pivots here is because it's such a monster to turn that trend around, right? So thus all the overlaps, which is why you see diagonals at beginnings or endings of trends. So looking at this, we would much prefer to see. Oh shit, we don't want this to be here, let's put it back together here. What we want here is an ABC. We want this to be an ABC. Now it could be part of a WXY. It really doesn't matter. What we want is a 3 here. And you can see how that could play. Now we gotta work the first move down as a 5, and which is, is it drop dead? No dispute about it. No. But it's certainly, given the distance that we moved from this pivot here, and we can certainly call this a double top, the move has certainly the momentum here was very bearish here. So it's not unreasonable to think of this as impulsive. This being the correction, it's a drop dead to the tick 50, right? We go right to the 50 and first and second targets both hit. So the ingredients here for this to be impulse correct. Now this got a little complicated here, but the broad structure here, it's a 3 that corrects right into a 50. Boom, down we go. You'll note also, right, that we as we hit that 50, we were hitting the downsloping parallel, right? Geometry, right? Don't ever ignore it. So we want this to be done down here. I mean, if you're a bull, right? If you're looking to get long, or if you're currently long, or you're looking for opportunities to add to longs, well, do we have it yet? Well, it depends on the time frame that you're trading. Now, if you're looking here like this, now note here, all I've done is just change the labeling, and now, is it funny how your mind all of a sudden immediately thinks, oh, right, the correction's over. All I did was relabel it, right? It's funny how that can change your bias. So that's the point of having alternates. So you go back and forth and you look and say, well, what really fits here? The distance we travel here, of course, now I'm doing this in let's get you up here. The distance pardon me, oh shit, what was I saying? Here, let's do it this way. The distance from the A to the B, right? We're in okay. Ideally you'd have gotten to the 1618 to lock in on that as a 3. 12738, second most common, also second most common. Pardon me, second most common for an impulse, but also second most common for a C wave, right? If we're not going to pivot at the 100, right, 12738, it's not uncommon. It's more common in an impulse here to see that if this was going to be 123, right? It's not that this is uncommon. As I said, it's the second most common. So we're kind of stuck here in a could be this, could be that, right? Which is frustrating for an Elliottician, right? So again, some of the attraction to market structure is that we don't have that subjectivity about where the trend is. Now, I think we can all, oh shit, what have I got over here? Oh, how about Vegas wave, right? So we can all look at the Vegas wave here. Well, now this is on a 3-day. I should note that here. So we don't have enough history to really get 233 days, but we can certainly see where we are here, that we're well below the 233 on the 3-day. Even if I take it to the daily, well below, right? And the Vegas wave is below the 233. So it's not hard to figure out where the trend is. But now we got to talk about degree. We've got an uptrend in the context of a downtrend, right? Which is not uncommon, right? Was this an uptrend? Well, it's clearly a 3, right? So you wouldn't. This would have been, again, the subdivision here doesn't really matter here. This is really pretty much what you're looking for. Now it's a little bit trickier in here because this looks like the 4. So then you got to dig the 1, 2 out of this 3. That feels a little force fitty, right? But of course, now remember, Elliott's not perfect. It's not going to subdivide perfectly at every degree. But the broad structure here, no matter how you slice it, this certainly feels like the 4. If we're going to call this the A, because then I can finish it as a clean 5. It's tricky. So you would want to put the 3 here, the 4 here, and then come down and finish this as the 5. So it's okay, could be. It's certainly not drop dead simple. But the broader, sometimes we make it harder on ourselves by trying to do that, right? So this is Sensei Tudum, he's an Elliott Master, level 2 certified. He continually whispers in my ear, don't worry so much about the subdivision. Go with the swing structure. What do you see there? What is the primary swing structure really showing you? As far as I'm concerned, because this is the consolidation. So I get drop, base, drop. The subdivision, okay, we could Elliotticians probably you're never going to get 10 Elliotticians to agree on it, right? Because it's open to interpretation. But the broader swing structure here, the momentum here, it feels impulsive. This corrects it. So as we look here, A, B, okay, how we get into a C? Well, can we do it without a brutal force fit? Yeah, I think we can. Right? Again, this feels like the 4. Right? So we can get there. This is actually cleaner, but look at the similarity, right? They're so similar. Drop, right? Drop, recover, base, drop. Drop, recover, base, drop. So careful about it, right? I have to catch myself on this as well, because this happened to me often. Members will say, "Can you break that down all the way down to a 5-minute?" Elliott is so much more effective at 60-minute and higher. I really would encourage you, when you go down below 60, when you get 30 minutes and below, that's where I would encourage you to really look long and hard at the market structure. Right, and now that we've got this nice partnership here with the folks at Sonar Labs here, and we can get you discounts on that. Just a reminder, if you're interested in the SMC stuff, which we're going to get to in a second, just underneath this video is our link tree, right here. You get a 10% discount if you use our link, right? So it's not $59 a month, right? So I don't think that's out of reach for many people. Oh shit, where was I? Here we are. Okay, so at $59 a month. What this adds, I think, is certainly you should be able to recoup that on any given month. And if you can't, you need to stop trading and go to sim. It's just not that much to try and recover in terms of covering trading costs. So it brings us all the way back here. Oh, I'm still in log, so we got to do it this way here. So what the hell are we doing here? Certainly doesn't look impulsive. Now, there could be the starts of impulsive moves in here, but somebody's got to get impulsive here. One of these waves has got to kick. Otherwise, this is, Jesus, what do we got here? Now, what am I, a daily? So, W, X, Y, X, Z. Looks like it would be some sort of a complex series of threes. Nobody's gotten impulsive yet. So the alternate here we'll look at in a second is that it's a series of 1-2s, but it's at one of these degrees, somebody's got to kick. One of these degrees has got to kick, right? Hard, right? So we can get out of this. We got a lot of work to do. Look at all the imbalance here, right? So this is a lot of work to try and cut through. Look at the hole here. Now, there's two ways to look at that, right? There should not be a big battle here if the market starts to move. One way to look at that is here, well, there's very little resistance. The alternate here, let's just consider the flip side of that, is that this market moves so quickly, it's reasonable to assume that not all the orders got filled here. Or said differently, traders didn't all get the price they wanted. So, bullshit, what do I have here? Here, vector candles, right? So this is just going to fill in. So it's going to identify those big candles of imbalance, right? So we got to get through this here, because you can see how somebody who maybe was late or didn't get the right, you can have unfilled orders here. Now, what else is there? Right? Of course, we know we got to do this, right? So what else we got to get through, right? So as we come into this imbalance, we're coming right into the golden zone. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, right, you've heard me anyone who's traded this understands this. That doesn't mean we can't get through it. It just means you can expect the resistance there. So if we were to pivot there, what do we end up with here? If we pivot, well, what's the implication, right? Oh, fuck. Right, Jesus. I'm here. I'll get my shit together here in a second. The implication is there's an algo, right? As long as we don't get a close on the other side of that, that's got a target down here. So then we'd be, what would that do to the count? How would we have to respond to that? Well, first, it's taking the market down to 15K, right? So anyone who's bullish or was buying in the low 20s, that's where last place I added. If you're a bull, right? Okay, I'd rather not see that. Any way to eliminate that? What would it do to the count? Well, let's just double check this here. If this, I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Let's see if we get that. Okay. The alternate here, it strikes me, we'd have to do it this way. It looks like, oh fuck, come here. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So this would be. I don't want to do it this way. Let me pull back for a second. No, I don't want to do it that way. Here's what I'm trying to get to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be the 1. So this would be the 1. This would be the 2. This potentially becomes the 3. This potentially, right now, we could pivot here. We don't have to go to the golden zone. The pivot could be here. We're looking for that 4, 5. So this, again, as an Elliottian, we could look here and say, is this what's going on here? Is that what I'm going to get here? Right now, of course, quickly you'll note that the extension would be in the 1. 3 would be shorter than 1, so you'd have to pay attention to make sure that you don't get 5 going longer than 3, right? So you'd have an invalidation down here at 14K. That would put 5 longer than 3, and then you know you got the count wrong. Right? Benefits of some of those hard rules. So you look at that and go, does this look like the 4 relative to that little 2? Right? The balance of time. We could certainly call this sideways, and this, other than sideways, a chop monster. But it's a clear uptrend. It's just a relentless series of higher highs and higher lows, right? At least at this degree. I'm on here on the daily. So 1, 2, 3. This is the 4. It doesn't fit. Could it be technically? Yes, right. And we could have put the pivot in here. We're going to go down here, so it's not quite as extreme. But that's not a trade I would take, right? I just wouldn't take this trade off of that's what I'm going to get. Now, if that's not to say, well, shit, I'm never looking to short Bitcoin. But if I were to get this, okay, well now I know where I am. Okay, that's not necessarily bad news because it's going to clear this up. Oh, okay, well I had a very odd 3, this choppy 4 into it, and I'm going to finish with this impulse. I'm going to come down to 15K. If I pull back, right, have I invalidated any longer term count if I drop to 15K? No, I haven't. We still could just as well be a 4, right? I can't invalidate until I take out the wave 1. Could be a 4. Now, nobody likes that count, right? Because if you take it out of log scale, right, we've gone 786 from the high. So I would tell you that be careful about that, right? It almost doesn't matter, right? As I've said repeatedly in the last couple of videos, whether it's a 2 or a 4, the only difference, assuming, right, it's a 2 or a 4, the only difference is how far it's going to go in the next swing up. All right, are we going for a 5? We're going for a 3, right? Now, of course, Bull's going to hope that it's a 2, right? That would be the best of news available to us. So none of this has happened yet. So I come back here looking at this going, this all looks wrong to me. So I'd much rather put the 1 up here. I think it just plays better. Put the 3 here, the 4 here, and the 5 here. All right, so now I can get done. A, B, and I don't have, even though this is, it's kicker in the 5th, right? That looks way better to me than 1, 2, a stubby 3, weird 4, and then another stubby 5. But what the hell is going on here, right? So we have a clear downtrend, right, and we have an uptrend in the middle of it, right? So is it 5 down and we're just going through a very choppy correction of it? Well, we can't eliminate that. Oh, is there much else to add here on the daily? I don't know that there is. Let me pull out here. ABC. All right, if you're a bull, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so can we make sense of this? Can we make that work? Oh, shit. Now I got to find it. Oh, that's the bots. This is row. Let's go over here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right, on the assumption, right, that we are, as per what would be my primary. I'm not, let's pull back here. I'm not even going to get into whether that's a 3 or a B or a W or an X, right? That doesn't matter. It really, at this point, doesn't matter. We aren't going to be able to be definitive about that until we see. Well, let's see if we get an impulsive move out at this degree. We got to take out that pivot. Then we can back into it and say, okay, was that the top of the 1? This is the 2, or was this the top of the 3? And this is an A, B, and or W, X, Y. We're not going to know. It really doesn't matter to me, right? I mean, this would be a high class problem to be dealing with if we start to go impulsive here. But let's see if we can make this fit here, even at this degree. What am I at? Daily? All right, let's work off the daily, just to see. Now I've got a bunch of channels on here. Well, here I should probably show you the channels first. All right, nothing, no rocket science here. Right, I'm just using the A and the B and this, just extending that channel. So, well, I've got overthrow here. Now, this is the danger here is something that I've talked about the last couple of weeks here, is that a break of a channel implies that the market is going to make one more push down, right? That's the Al Brooks trendline rule. There'll be one more push down to challenge that low and get a new extreme. Well, if we're doing that, then the other count, right, would be in play. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're down here saying, oh shit, okay, are we going longer than the 3? Because the alternate here is really ugly, is that we went 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going much lower. And then what is this, right? It starts to get very bearish, which is why, at least at this point in time, I don't think we have to go there. We'll go there if forced to. Okay, so I've got one channel here with throw over. I've just doubled the channel here, and then just so in blue, if I move it, right, so all I'm doing is putting it on the center line, right? So I can accommodate that overthrow at equal distance, because you can see how nicely this pinged from pivot to pivot to pivot to pivot to center line. Now we break back inside. Now we need to stay inside. We need to stay inside this channel here for a chance for this to actually end up being a hard low, and then we start to rally. So with that said, let's get out of these. I'll just hide them. Let's just hide them. Okay, so now here, what's the current channel I got to deal with? Right, pretty clean trend line. Right now, it allows for this to be self-contained to get me my pivot down here, and I can do it in that 5. So I can get my ABC here. Okay, so what about coming off of the low? Can we make sense of this? Well, here, maybe as I'm doing Elliott here, let's pivot. Let's hide the Sonar Labs. I'll probably hide this as well. Let's hide it. Okay, so what do we got? Possibly. We've gone 1, 2. Expand the B. A, B, C into a 2. Well, we don't get a 1, 2, 3 here. So we've got the swing to the 2. This could be a 1. This could be a 2. Well, I don't get a 3. So what's the alternate? Well, I get a 1. I go exactly into a golden zone. You gotta love that. Look at the reaction. Right? How do you know it's an algo? Right? Look what came out of it. Right? Look at the imbalance here. Right? So we know software kicked in here, but it's not to its target yet. So what do I get off of that? So I have a 1, 2. Well, it's not a 3. But fear not, right, bulls, right? If it's 1, 2, well, we got to have an impulse here. And within that impulse, we got to have a 1, 2. So the problem with this is that you find yourself choking a little bit on 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because technically if I go to a lower degree, I'm going to need another 1, 2 within that 3, and then another 1, 2 within the 1 of that. You start to go, wait a minute, that's just too many 1, 2s. Well, could be, right? So that's what I'm saying. Somebody at this point in time, an impulse needs to kick out of here. There's going to need to be a trigger event. Now, right now in the background, all of the macro news is not particularly friendly to Bitcoin or crypto, right? It's the relentless examination of crypto and crypto exchanges and the push towards regulation. Okay, we got to do it, but let's fucking hurry up with it. Because certainly we can look at this and say, okay, well, where are we going to run into some resistance here? Just structurally, there's going to be a battle up here. Right. So why would I say that? Because shorts here, if it comes back, what do you think they're going to do? Right. They don't want to let that get away. Right. They're going to defend there. Now, that's not you, me, and Uncle Bill. That's muscle. Right. That's whales that would have size in there to defend their shorts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. Now, so the one thing about that is it gets crazy bullish. So let's just, oh shit, do I not have regular on here? Let's get this one. Here we do it this way. All right. If we're now let's use the pretty. Oh, let's get you over here. Right. So this could be 3, 4, 5 to get us that. Oh, here, maybe we'll come out a little bit. All right. So 1, 2, we need an impulse up here. So we got to go up here and we got to challenge this consolidation. 30s. Well, of course, we could, we could probably take it out of log scale down here. Okay, so 1, 2. Now, note 1, 2, 1, 2. If I do that, well, there's 2 ways you could do it. Shit. One thought is once you're out of log, here, let's just put a regression channel on the whole thing, right? So I've got just look how cleanly that contains it, right? 2 standard deviations. right? So we can see higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, low, higher, high, high, low. Right? It's just clearly we have an uptrend working off of this pivot, but it's not an impulse, right? It's the first ingredients of multiple impulses. So we can't eliminate it, but it doesn't particularly play as a correction either. What else would we have? Jesus. A, B, C, W, X, A, B, Y. We'd be looking for some sort of combo here. Oh, it's probably, I think it's cleaner on lower degrees. You'd be looking at some sort of complex combo, which doesn't quite fit with what we just did up here. Again, these are that language already. You can see the problem with that, right? So it doesn't quite feel right. It doesn't have the right look, right? We want to try and take some of that subjectivity out of the analysis if we can. So what can we be absolutely definitive about? Well, I got an uptrend after a big downtrend. Higher highs, higher lows, right? That's how we're going to define an uptrend, right? That's how we all define an uptrend. We can see we have all the ingredients here for this to be a good low. Now, is it the hard low? Well, but this is if we don't get out of the box here, I'm going to be back here next week doing the exact same thing, going 1, 2. Is it another 1, 2, right? Because we need it, right? If we're going to get a 3 here, we got to have that. We got to be able to identify that 1, 2, 3. So I got a yes. I need another 1, 2, right? To have any conviction in what we're doing here. No easy answer here. Which is another way of saying, if you're not in the market, don't feel the need to get in the market. Now, is this a reasonable place to enter? Yeah, sure it is. Right? So, but let's be disciplined here. Okay, if that's the 1, 2, if it's well, let's just use this pivot. If this is the 1, 2, and we're anticipating the 3 here, right? We're going to try and get that 3. So we've had a 50, so it's a reasonable spot for a 2. That wick rejection here, at least on the daily, is not particularly friendly. Like we made an attempt at it, right? The news came out today, right, with the jobs report. Markets are all over the place, and okay, those wicks are not particularly bullish. Again, don't feel like you need to be in the market. But certainly you could get into the market here. You could take a little bite at something here, but be disciplined about the stop. You can't give it down to here. Well, let me rephrase that. You'd want to think twice about well, let's say you entered right here, right? Here, let's use the 3. Well, let's use the 1618. Okay. If you're putting it here, 3 to 1. That's a little more than I would take, right? Might do something like this, or at least I get 6 to 1. Or if you want to use the other side here, the problem with that when they stack like this is if we start coming back down, we break this golden zone, we could just test this one. But if the premise that this is 1, 2, we don't want to see it come down that low. Maximum would be the 786 before we get that 3. So, that's why maybe even 707. So you can now you get 7 to 1. It's not a bad. It's not a horrible idea, but I want to see right here on the daily here that's not a very good looking candle. So let's go. Well, let's stay here on the daily for a bit. Let's finish up here. We know this is there. We know those kind of targets here. So the next place we're looking for, really, you want to get up here to this high volume node here. Let's call it 30 for a nice round number. So could all of this be underway? Yeah, could be. Of course, the alternate is to wait because there's so many 1, 2s. Something's going to have to retrace because if it's 1, 2 and we're going for a big 3, one of these you'd want to confirm that you got an impulse. Right? We don't even at a smaller degree. So even if I went down to a 1 hour, somebody's got to get impulsive. One of these swings has got a kick. Okay, let's go. Let's go to the 8 and see how we look here on the 8. Now I'm out of log scale here, so I get a little sloppy here. Note the POC is right here. I got a little. It looks like I get a wick through the golden zone here, and we're not to target yet. So what's really going on here right now as we get jobs data? Range. So are we? Well, okay. Things we can be definitive about. Swing, internal retracement. I get a new high. Swing, internal retracement, I get a new high. Swing, golden zone, I get a new high. I don't get the algo target. Swing, internal retracement, right? So it's just swing, retrace, right? So all of this encouraging to a bull. But we really can't unclench until we see something kick. Oh, let's go. Let's get the SMC stuff on from Sonar Labs. I remind you, right? If you like it over here, right? Nobody else is giving you that, right? Special deal we worked out with them. Okay, so let's look at that. And I think 7 day. It's a 7-day free trial, right? To see if you can figure it out. All right, join us, right? We'll be happy to help you. And of course, we've got lots of training on it as well if you're not aware of that. Okay, so now all of a sudden we say, see, hey, does this help me? Because fuck, that's the point, right? If the Elliott's unclear, maybe the market structure will help us. Well, was this helpful? Yeah, I think so, right? Two big demand zones here, and we kick out of that. Look at the imbalance, right? So here's the imbalance, right? As we get imbalance in that candle, that makes that trade a whole lot easier to take. Now, I'm not saying you sit here with a limit order, but once it starts to go, right, you didn't have to pick the turn to make money there. What did we go from 21 and change? Oh, the target would have been right here to 24 and change. That's a pretty nice little rip. Pump, retrace. Pump, retrace. Why are these the demand zones, right? Because these are the pivots that now gave us change of character, right? There was one here, but it's been broken, right? We had to close above it. So what's up ahead? Well, we've got this monster right here, right? You see this right here's the last upswing before we go down that gives me a break of structure, right? So this is we got multiple supply zones up here, and then we have a strong high. This is the hard high right here until the downtrend doesn't formally break, right? At least at this degree, until I break that 32.3. I got to break that pivot, and then I can confirm. Then there's no more, well, it feels like it might be impulsive. There's no ambiguity about it. Uptrend. Until then, we are still, at this degree, we are still in a downtrend. We are just in the corrective phase of that downtrend. So kind of what we were looking at, oh, shit. Forget how many times we've done this. Oh, come here. All right, so if you were looking to be a seller, where do you want to be a seller, right? In the premium zone here. So if we're going to go 3, 4, 5, wait a minute. You're telling me, if I get an impulse here, well, that's right. Do we have an impulse yet? So if we pop up here and we get into this zone and we hit that order block, what are you thinking? Right, 1, 2. If you get to this. Right now, I'm labeling it that way, right? So nothing means that this couldn't just be, Jesus. We could have some sort of A, B, C, or W, X, Y going in here. We can't eliminate those possibilities. But what I would see here is a potential to take profit. 1, 2, I get a 3. Now, what I'd be looking for something like that. Right now, right, do I need to sell everything? Right, get out of the market? Well, not necessarily. What would you be anticipating then? Right, we're going to have to break this and go up and get to the next one. Now, what are you thinking there? Are you selling there? Well, what these are is just kind of mile markers along the way. This is where you know you're going to have resistance here, right? Again, not that you can't get through, but you're likely to have resistance. So if I had 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? Now again, right? So it starts to come together. Now you've got something to work with. Oh, now I'm thinking 4. So you break an order block, becomes a breaker block. So if we come back to this, if I get some sort of, I don't know, triangle or something that brings me back down here, let's just keep it simple. We get something like that, and then we go off. Well, all right, so did these help you? Oh, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got my 3. Shit, I think I've got that actually pretty close. All right, look at that, right? So we come right into the high probability zone as we hit the order block, right? The supply zone. Again, I don't like that language. We've hit a supply zone here. I don't know that that's going to hold, but that's not if I were to get this at the high volume node here, at the most common place for a 3 relative to the 1, 2, at the very least, I'm going to tighten up my stop. But am I thinking, oh shit, I got to get out of the market because I'm up in the discount zone here? Well, maybe not. That's where you'd have a little bit of a fist fight between the SMC in your brain and the Elliott Wave in your brain. Okay, who's going to win that? I think at this point in time here, I'd be a buyer here. I'd have a nice channel. Right here, I did this. Have a nice channel coming up here. Right, you get a little help from an RSI or an Elliott Wave. What have I got under here? OBV or the Elliott Wave oscillator. Something to give you a little bit more confidence. Oh, momentum seems to be going. Okay, well, we break that. Now it's game on. Right, now we come all the way back here and we say, right, again, just because this is the strong high doesn't mean it can't break. It just means that's the target for bulls. All right, so let's get this out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, if I were to do that, Jesus, where are you up here? If I were to do that, that's all I've done. Right now, this is getting very bullish. This one's got to come. Then we got to get this one. Then we got to get this one. Then we got to get this one. Right now, we're back up into the 50s. Right? You see, that's the benefit. Well, that's the reality. Maybe say it that way. If this is 1, 2, and we're going to go all the way up here, well, then you'd probably be back here thinking, going, is that 1, 2? Is that, if that's not even the 3, you'd probably be back here revisiting this count, saying, was this a diag here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 1, 2, and we'd reconsider this back down here as the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because we're going to be so extended here. You very well might. Now, is this the cleanest looking leading diag? No, it's not, right? The threes are suspect. Is that a 3? Doesn't look like it, but you could probably dig it out of there on a smaller time frame. So talk about a high class problem, right? If I'm revisiting this going, okay, wait a minute, the 1 has to be here, the 2 has to be here. This is some sort of very ugly leading diag with not great separation, right? Not I should say subdivision, but 1, 2. Now that's a little bit more reasonable to think I went 1, 2, and now I'm getting the 3 up here rather than 1, 2. Right? But as it sits right now, here's what I can't with any conviction call it anything other than a series of higher highs and higher lows. That's all I can really say with confidence until I get more information, right? So the market just has not revealed itself here. It's teasing. It's teasing, right? It's not giving you the full look at it. So I'd be careful. You know, the other thought here is if you're looking for opportunities to get long, just keep the size light. Right? Why take any large size here? There's no reason to do that until we get more clarity here. So if you want to nibble here, because you like the idea of the uptrend here in the midst of this range, well, nibble, but keep the size light. There are plenty of opportunities. Jesus, if this plays, there's plenty of opportunity to add, plenty of spots to add, plenty of spots to add. So if this goes 1, 2, if we go 1, 2 here, and then I get something impulsive here on the 4, well, I add a little bit there, right? Until something fails, right, and you get something that breaks down. There's no reason not to stay with it, right? You trade them till they fail, right? So we come down here, oh, we take out the 1, oh, can't be. Well, now you're thinking, oh, shit, was that an ABC? Boy, and we stayed under that strong high. And that's what you'd be thinking. You'd be thinking, oh, it was a leading diag, and we went ABC, and now we're coming down to challenge that low, right? Which is the weak, or this is the last low. We're coming down to challenge that low, and the whole thing was corrective. Oh, wait a minute. Now you got to reconsider the whole thing, saying, wait a minute. If that was corrective, and all I did was get up here and do an ABC, what was that? Well, that's the bad news, right? If this is 5 and this is 3 and this is 5, that implies 1, 2. Right? That I think is less likely, right? It's not impossible. But boy, we're heading very into the deep south, right? If that's what's coming, which I think is much less likely, not impossible, just much less likely. So where is it going to fail, right? If we don't get an impulse here, or we do something like this, A, B, C, and we start to get impulsive coming down, well, bulls are in a world of hurt, per the implications of that Elliott count. Of course, none of that has happened. None of this has happened, right? We're just still down here going, what the fuck is that? Diag? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we looked at this last week. You could get a diag in here that wouldn't necessarily blow the count up, but you're gonna have. Oh, here, let's just let's redo it, the whole thing, so I can just draw it out here. Get out of there, come on. Yeah, let's even take these off. What's the alternate here? No, even these. Let's say we went A, B, C into a 1. Well, the first problem is I got to call that shit. I don't even like doing that. Let's do it here. Let's do it here. 1, 2, A, B, C. So this would have to be the 3. This would have to be the 4, right? We got the overlap here, and the 5 comes in up here, right? Could be. This is a little squishy, right? But at least I get 3 there, 3 there. Okay, let's call it 3. If I get the 5, okay, so I might have a 1 there if I can get this. Okay, so I got a diag. 1, 2, A, B, C, A, B, C. So you got to do A, B, C, A, B, C. It was just a series of 3s, right? Could get us there. Okay, so this is not an unreasonable alternative. Leading diag. Right now, oh, yeah, we'd be good here. Now, you'd like to see 5 longer than 3. Let's see if this is ABC into the 3, let's measure it here, right? Because you guys are all thinking the same thing. Okay, if this is ABC, we'd want 5 longer, right? So you'd want to get, nice, right? You'd come right into this supply zone here. You'd get that little kick into the potential order block up there, right? Can we get a 5 into that? Okay, right. So the regression channel would slope a little higher because I'd be drawing it off of price action up here. So this would rotate off a little bit. Here we can just draw it. We can use these. So we'd get something like this. The pivot here, did we get a 50? Well, that's what you'd be looking for. I think we got a golden zone. No, we did get a 50, right? So remember, in a diag, you're looking for the 4 you want a 50 from the start of the 1 through the pivot of the 3. You're looking for it at the 50. Now we need an ABC, right? Is that a 5, 3, 5? We get a zigzag here to finish the 1 here. Well, there would be an alternate. It all comes back to, right down here, is this the C, right? Is this the last 5 that gets us down here and we finish down here? Well, bulls better hope so, right? I certainly hope so, right? I'm an uber bull, right? And I'm very long. Either way, right? Now, if we do that, don't feel like, oh shit, I got to get in the market, because what's next, right? We're gonna put in the 2, and then we're gonna get the 3. So a lot has to happen here. This would be the next opportunity. Now, do I know for sure that's going to come? No, of course not, right? Is the market mandated to do that? Of course not, right? Market could just keep running here, and you might miss the trade. But at some point, you're going to run into some resistance where people are going to take profit. Longs will take profit. Bears will defend. We'll get some sort of algo play, right? Remember, we're coming right into the golden zone here. So there's lots of different ways that this can play, and right now it just remains, what is this corrective? Is it a series of 1-2s? Is it a diag? We can't be definitive about it. So why? What's the rush? What's the hurry? I'm sure going to want to watch for any signs of the series of higher highs, higher lows breaking to suggest to me that something has what change of character. We don't have that yet. But boy, we got some nice clear targets as to where we're likely to bump into some resistance. And we know the range that we're in, right? Here's the high. Here's the last strong low that did its job, right? Broke structure, gave us the pivot that we need, right? Nice bounce here. Well, here, as I'm looking at it, this is the POC. Look, as we come right into a demand zone at the POC, at a golden zone. I think we had multiple goldens in there. At a golden zone with a target, that trade should be easy to take. All right, I think I've rambled on long enough there. It's a lot of hurry up and wait with this. Wish I could give you, I mean, again, it's not a bad thought to take a trade here, because if we're going up for the 5, this is the A, this is the B, right? We just looked at this, right? I mean, you can do that and get 6 to 1. It looks a little bad here. So shit, let's go to a 1 hour. You got a clear impulse there. That looks like an expanded B. Well, down here, right, you can see the trend. Here, let's get all this off. Trend is, here's the last swing low, swing high, right? So we just hit the 50. Here's the 618, 786. So if we're coming down, what, here, I mean, it's right in your face, right? You can see how effective these are. Swing, retrace, swing, back, check it, right? Supply coming to the market? Well, apparently it will. But the trend here, the last swing structure here is this move here. Now, is that a 3, right? So is this the A? We're working on the B. We got a C to go up to break this high. This is the weak high at this degree. So we can look at it and say, okay, where are the algos? All right, reaction at the 50. Looks like there was imbalance there. Do I have some? Oh, I thought I had the vector candles. I don't have them over here. Doesn't matter. You can see the imbalance right there. So do you want to take that trade? Well, let's dig in even further. Right now, that looks like it's already. Did it break it? Looks like that might be too far. Nope, right in the pocket. Shouldn't surprise me. All right, right in the pocket of a golden zone. What happens there? Reaction. You got imbalance in this candle here, and you have a fair value gap here between this high and this low, right? So we have imbalance in that candle. Now, can it hold? Well, I don't know that I would scream into the market right here. I would want to see, you got to give me some signs of strength coming in, right? And then give me the little retrace, because that's got to come out of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, my swing structure suggests, okay, that could be the A. Working on the B. Okay, well, I got to get a C. Well, it better shape up pretty soon. Going into the weekend, which is a wild card for crypto, right? Volume dries up, right? Manipulation much easier to do on the weekends, which happens, damn near every weekend, right? That's why I don't put on trades over the weekend, just for that reason, right? They can be manipulated. Sure is nice to see these here, right? And know where. Oh, let's see. They're going to test this. Are they going to test that demand zone here? Right, this is a good one because the best, should kind of make a point here and then I'll wrap up. The best demand zones here or supply zones are zones that cause an imbalance, right? So right, there's strength here. So if we come back into this, again, right, did all the traders get the prices they wanted there, or their unfilled orders in the book waiting to get filled there? That's the premise, right? That this was the impulse, this is the correction. You can kind of see that already. Swing, lower, high, that right into a supply zone coming down here. We're going to go from supply zone to demand zone, right? It happens all the time. That would be pretty deep. Now you're looking at a 786. And now you're coming, if you get in here, there's 764, 786, right into the pocket here, deep, right? So this is why this is hard to take. What are your emotions thinking? Oh my God, it's coming hard down. I can't take that. Looks like you had a couple of measured moves in here. Did I get that? Or was it here? Looks like it was there. Swing 50. Got it. So coming back, right? We've already broken. Right? So the sell side has been broken in terms of the algo, but you ran into supply up here, which is always what they're checking, right? Is there supply going to come up here? Why? Why is there supply here? Because this is the last upswing that caused this break of structure here. Change of character, but not a trend change, just change of character. We don't have break of structure. Here's the last break of structure. Now we come back here. Again, if you're not familiar with that language, and most of the members here, I've done some just go over to our YouTube and go to the playlist. You'll see it for TradingView. You'll see the training there, both for Ninja and TradingView. Okay, I've probably rambled on long enough. Okay, guys, there you go. This is really valuable, particularly in spots here where you're trying to apply Elliott and it's just not clear. Right, the Sonar Lab stuff here really will help you in terms of looking for those opportunities and targets, as well as potential supply and demand zones. Okay, there you go. All of this little swing structure here should be helpful to you as well, and then definitive about where the trend is. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. You have a good weekend. We're back for a live stream on Monday, and then I've got Money Crypto on Wednesday, so the usual drill. And then, of course, don't hesitate to come over here and join us. Of course, you can always join us for free. Lots of good stuff in here. Actually, this is the bot now that we're using that's doing extremely well. This gets you to our website. You can join us for free on the white belt, right? Or come in as a social member. You can participate in all the live streams. Lots of opportunities to participate with us, right? You just got to get started. Okay, guys, have a good one. I'll see you on Monday.